In just 47 seconds, one of Britain's most beloved actresses completely destroyed a morning television host on live TV. What started as a pleasant chat turned into an absolute verbal beatdown that had the entire studio gasping. Dame Judi Dench, the woman who's played everything from M in James Bond to Queen Victoria, walked onto Lorraine Kelly's show expecting a normal conversation. Instead, she delivered one of the most savage takedowns in British television history before storming off the set, leaving Lorraine speechless and humiliated in front of millions of viewers. Before we dive into this explosive confrontation, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We bring you daily videos exposing Hollywood's darkest scandals, the confrontations they don't want you to see, and the moments that celebrities wish they could erase from existence. Hit that subscribe button now because you won't want to miss what happens next. Last night's episode of Lorraine started like any other morning. The bright studio lights were on, the audience was settling into their seats, and Lorraine Kelly sat behind her desk with that familiar smile plastered across her face. Dame Judi Dench walked out to applause, waving gracefully to the crowd. She wore an elegant navy blue suit and looked every bit the distinguished actress she's known to be. Lorraine stood up, gave Judi a hug, and they both sat down as the applause died down. "Dame Judi, it's absolutely wonderful to have you here," Lorraine said, her Scottish accent cheerful and bright. "You look fantastic." "Thank you, Lorraine," Judi replied with a warm smile. "It's lovely to be here. Now, I want to talk about your new film," Lorraine continued, glancing down at her notes. "But first, I have to say, you've had such an incredible career. 89 years old, and still working harder than people half your age." Judi's smile tightened just slightly. "Well, I don't think of it as work, really. I just love what I do." Of course, Lorraine said, leaning forward with enthusiasm. "But come on, at your age, don't you ever think about just putting your feet up, enjoying retirement? I mean, surely you've earned it by now." There was a brief pause. Judi's expression shifted ever so slightly. "I'm sorry. At my age?" Lorraine laughed, not picking up on the change in tone. "Well, yes. You're nearly 90, darling. Most people would be happy with a nice, quiet life by now." "I'm not most people, Lorraine," Judi said, her voice measured but with an edge creeping in. "And I don't see why age should determine when someone stops doing what they love." No, absolutely not." Lorraine backtracked quickly, though her smile remained fixed. "I'm just saying, it's impressive that you're still at it. Still learning lines, still showing up on set. It must be exhausting." "It's not exhausting when you're passionate about your craft," Judi replied, sitting up straighter in her chair. "I find these kinds of comments quite patronizing, actually." The audience went quiet. Lorraine's smile faltered for just a moment before she recovered. "Patronizing? Oh no, I didn't mean it like that at all. I'm paying you a compliment." "Are you?" Judi asked, raising an eyebrow. "Because it sounds to me like you're suggesting I should be at home knitting, rather than doing the thing I've dedicated my entire life to." "That's not what I said," Lorraine protested, laughing nervously. "I think you're being a bit sensitive, Judi." "Sensitive?" Judi's voice grew sharper. "Lorraine, you just sat here and questioned whether someone my age should still be working. How would you feel if I suggested you were too old for your job?" Lorraine shifted in her seat, clearly uncomfortable but trying to maintain control. "Well, I didn't mean it like that. You're twisting my words." "I'm not twisting anything," Judi fired back. "I'm repeating exactly what you said. You looked at me and decided that my age is somehow more noteworthy than my actual work. Do you do this to male actors? Do you ask Anthony Hopkins if he should be retired? Do you tell Ian McKellen he looks tired?" That's different," Lorraine stammered. "How is it different?" Judi demanded. "Please, explain to me how it's different." Lorraine tried to laugh it off. "Come on now, Judi, we're all friends here. Let's not make this into something it's not." "We're not friends," Judi said coldly. "We've met twice, and right now I'm a guest on your show being talked down to because of my age." The tension in the studio was thick enough to cut with a knife. Audience members exchanged uncomfortable glances. The camera operators kept filming, capturing every second of the escalating confrontation. Lorraine took a breath, trying to regain her composure. "All right, let's move on then. Let's talk about your new film. You're playing a grandmother in this one, correct?" Judi stared at her. "Are you serious right now?" "What?" It's a lovely role, Lorraine said defensively. Grandmothers are wonderful. That's not the point, Judi said, her voice rising slightly. We've just had an exchange about you making my age the focus of this conversation. And your very next question is about me playing a grandmother. Do you not see how that's exactly the same problem? I'm asking about your role in the film, Lorraine insisted. That's what you're here to promote, isn't it? I'm here to discuss my work, Judi corrected her. Not to be reduced to how old I am or what roles you think are appropriate for someone my age. Lorraine's face flushed. I really think you're overreacting here, Judi. I'm trying to have a nice conversation with you. A nice conversation? Judi repeated, incredulous. You've done nothing but focus on my age since I sat down. That's not a conversation about my work. That's you making assumptions about what I should or shouldn't be doing based on a number. Well, forgive me for noticing that you're not 25 anymore, Lorraine snapped, her patience clearly wearing thin. It's not exactly a secret that you're elderly. The word hung in the air like a bomb. Judi's eyes widened. Elderly? I didn't mean. I just meant. Lorraine tried to backtrack, but it was too late. You just called me elderly on national television, Judi said, her voice dangerously calm. After spending the last 5 minutes making my age the entire focus of this interview, it's just a word, Lorraine said defensively. I don't know why you're being so difficult about this. Difficult? Judi's voice rose. I'm being difficult because I won't sit here and be disrespected? Is that what you think? I haven't disrespected you, Lorraine protested. You're Dame Judi Dench. Everyone loves you. I'm just trying to have a conversation. No, you're trying to make me feel small, Judi shot back. You're trying to put me in a box labeled old woman, so you can feel better about yourself. Well, I won't have it. Lorraine's face hardened. You know what? I think someone needs to tell you that you're not as special as you think you are. You're a guest on my show, and I'll ask whatever questions I want to ask. The audience gasped audibly. Several people put their hands over their mouths in shock. Judi leaned forward, her eyes blazing. And I'm a guest who won't tolerate being treated like some relic from the past. I've won an Oscar, 10 BAFTAs, and more awards than you could fit in this entire studio. I've worked with the greatest directors in cinema history. And you have the audacity to sit there and tell me I'm not special? I didn't say that exactly, Lorraine mumbled, but her voice lacked conviction. You said it, Judi confirmed. Everyone heard you say it. And now I'm going to say something. You're a bully, Lorraine. You bring people on your show and you make them feel small so you can feel big. Well, congratulations, because today you've shown everyone exactly who you really are. How dare you call me a bully? Lorraine said, her voice shaking with anger. I've been nothing but kind to you. Kind? Judi laughed, but there was no humor in it. You've belittled me, dismissed me, and insulted me all in the space of 10 minutes. That's not kindness. That's cruelty dressed up with a smile. This is my show, Lorraine said, standing up from her chair. And I won't be spoken to like this. Then maybe you should learn how to speak to your guests with respect, Judi replied, also standing. Because what you've done here today is disgraceful. The two women stood facing each other, the air between them crackling with hostility. The studio audience sat frozen, nobody quite sure what was happening or what would happen next. Lorraine pointed toward the exit. If you don't like how I run my show, you know where the door is. Judi stared at her for a long moment. You're actually kicking me off your show? I'm giving you the option to leave, Lorraine said coldly. Since you clearly don't want to be here. Oh, I want to be here, Judi said. I want to be here so everyone can see what you're really like. But I won't stay somewhere I'm not respected. Fine, Lorraine said. Then go. The confrontation had reached its breaking point. Dame Judi Dench, one of the most respected actresses in the world, stood in the middle of a morning television show being told to leave by a host who had spent the entire interview making her age the centerpiece of every question. Judi took a step back and looked directly into the camera. To everyone watching at home, I want you to know that I came here today excited to talk about my new film. I came here ready to share stories from set, to discuss the incredible cast and crew I worked with, and to celebrate the art of filmmaking. Instead, I was treated like my only defining characteristic is how old I am. And when I stood up for myself, I was told to leave. That's not fair, Lorraine interjected. You're making me sound like some kind of monster. Judi turned to face her. I'm making you sound exactly like what you've been. You can watch the tape back and see for yourself. Every single thing I've said is accurate. You came on my show looking for a fight, Lorraine accused. Admit it. I came on your show to promote my film, Judi corrected firmly. You're the one who made this personal. You're the one who couldn't resist making comments about my age. You're the one who called me elderly, and then told me I wasn't special. Own your words, Lorraine. I won't be lectured by you, Lorraine said, her voice rising. You think you can just waltz in here and act superior to everyone? I don't think I'm superior to anyone, Judi replied calmly. But I also won't be made to feel inferior just because I've lived longer than you'd like. Age should be celebrated, not used as a weapon. And you've used it as a weapon from the moment I sat down. Lorraine crossed her arms. I think you're being incredibly dramatic about this whole thing. Dramatic? Judi's eyes flashed. You do realize that dismissing someone's legitimate concerns as dramatic is just another way of trying to silence them, don't you? Oh, for God's sake, Lorraine muttered. You're impossible. No, I'm honest, Judi countered. And apparently, that makes you very uncomfortable. The studio crew stood watching, cameras still rolling, capturing every moment of the extraordinary confrontation. This was supposed to be a simple promotional interview. Instead, it had devolved into one of the most uncomfortable moments in British television history. Lorraine walked back to her desk and sat down heavily. You know what? I don't need this. I have a show to run. If you want to leave, then leave. But stop making a scene. I'm not making a scene, Judi said. You made the scene when you decided that my age was more interesting than my work. You made the scene when you got defensive instead of apologizing. And you're making a scene right now by refusing to take any responsibility for your behavior. My behavior? Lorraine laughed bitterly. You're the one causing problems here. I'm causing problems by expecting to be treated with basic respect? Judi asked. Is that really what you think? I think you came here with a chip on your shoulder, Lorraine said. And nothing I said was going to be good enough for you. Judi shook her head slowly. That's not true, and you know it. I came here in good faith. You're the one who turned this into something ugly. Get out, Lorraine said suddenly, her voice hard. I mean it. Get out of my studio. The audience collectively held their breath. This was it. The point of no return. Judi stood perfectly still for a moment, then nodded slowly. With pleasure. She unclipped her microphone and placed it carefully on the chair. I've been in this industry for 7 decades, she said, her voice carrying across the silent studio. I've dealt with all kinds of people, some wonderful, some terrible, but I've never in all my years been treated with such disrespect on a television show. You should be ashamed of yourself, Lorraine Kelly. And you should learn some manners, Lorraine shot back. But I suppose at your age it's too late to teach an old dog new tricks. The insult landed like a slap. The audience gasped again, even louder this time. Several people started booing. Judi smiled, but it was a cold smile. There it is again, the age comments. You just can't help yourself, can you? Even now, after everything that's been said, you still think it's acceptable to use someone's age as an insult. I didn't mean it like that, Lorraine said quickly, realizing she'd gone too far. Yes, you did, Judi said simply. And everyone heard you. Everyone watching at home heard you. You've shown your true colors, and there's no taking that back. Lorraine's face was red now. Whether from anger or embarrassment, it was hard to tell. Fine. You've made your point. Now please leave so I can continue with my show. Your show, Judi repeated. Yes, this is your show. And you've just ruined it. You had the opportunity to have a lovely conversation with someone who's achieved things most people only dream of. Instead, you chose to be small, petty, and mean-spirited. I genuinely feel sorry for you. I don't want your pity, Lorraine snapped. That's good, Judi replied. Because what you need is a long look in the mirror and a serious conversation with yourself about why you feel the need to tear other women down. She turned to the audience. Thank you all for being here today. I'm sorry you had to witness this. And to everyone at home, please remember that age is just a number. Don't let anyone make you feel less than because you've had the audacity to live a long, full life. With that, Dame Judi Dench turned on her heel and walked toward the exit. Her posture was perfect, her head held high. She moved with the grace and dignity that had defined her entire career. Lorraine called after her, "Running away won't change anything." Judi paused at the edge of the stage and looked back. "I'm not running away. I'm walking away from someone who doesn't deserve another second of my time. There's a difference. I hope someday you learn it." And then she was gone. The studio doors closed behind her with a soft thud that somehow seemed louder than any shout. Lorraine sat at her desk, her face a mixture of anger and shock. The audience was completely silent. No one knew quite what to do or say. The cameras kept rolling, capturing Lorraine's obvious discomfort as she tried to regain control of her show. "Well," Lorraine said, her voice forced and brittle, "that was unexpected. Dame Judi Dench, everyone. Clearly having a bad day, but the damage was done." The entire confrontation had been broadcast live. Every word, every insult, every moment of tension had been captured and was already spreading across social media. Within minutes, clips of the argument were being shared thousands of times. People were taking sides, analyzing every exchange, and the overwhelming consensus was clear. Lorraine Kelly had behaved terribly. Back in the studio, Lorraine tried to continue with her show, but her heart wasn't in it. She stumbled over her words, kept glancing toward the door where Judi had exited, and seemed unable to focus on anything. Her team tried to help, cutting to commercial breaks and bringing out other guests, but nothing could erase what had just happened. The confrontation had lasted less than 15 minutes, but it felt like hours. It had escalated from seemingly innocent comments about age to a full-blown argument that ended with one of Britain's most beloved actresses being told to leave. And through it all, Lorraine had doubled down on her behavior, refusing to apologize or acknowledge that she might have been in the wrong. The audience members who had witnessed the exchange firsthand were already pulling out their phones, texting friends and family about what they'd just seen. Some were shaking their heads in disbelief. Others were clearly angry on Judi's behalf. A few looked disappointed, as if they'd just watched something sacred be destroyed. In the wings, production staff were panicking. This was a disaster. Dame Judi Dench walking off a live television show was major news. The fact that she'd been essentially kicked off made it even worse. And the reasons behind it, the constant age-related comments and dismissals, made Lorraine look terrible. But in that moment, as the studio tried to recover and move on to the next segment, one thing was absolutely clear. Dame Judi Dench had won this confrontation decisively. She had stood up for herself with grace and power. She had called out behavior that was unacceptable, and she had walked away with her dignity intact. Lorraine, on the other hand, had revealed something about herself that couldn't be taken back. She had shown that beneath the friendly morning television persona was someone who could be dismissive, insulting, and cruel when challenged. She had proven that she couldn't handle criticism and would resort to personal attacks when backed into a corner. The studio lights kept shining, the cameras kept rolling, but the show was over in every way that mattered. Lorraine Kelly had lost control of her program, lost the respect of her audience, and most importantly, she had lost a confrontation with someone far more dignified and professional than she had proven herself to be. Dame Judi Dench had left the building, but her impact remained. Her words echoed in the minds of everyone who had heard them. Her refusal to be diminished or dismissed had sent a powerful message, and her graceful exit had been the perfect final statement in an argument she had never wanted but had ultimately dominated. The confrontation was over. Dame Judi Dench had walked out of Lorraine Kelly's studio with her head held high, leaving behind a host who had revealed herself to be petty, mean-spirited, and completely unable to admit when she was wrong. It was a moment that